There are cold fronts on the map, and we might actually get some cooler temperatures and a little bit of rain out of them. Stay there, I'll be back with more. I know you've been watching that forecast, waiting to see if the cold front was going to wither away like past ones have, or if it was going to stick around, and it stuck around. So we'll talk about what kind of relief we'll be looking at in a little bit, but unfortunately, we just got to talk about how hot it is before then. 106 for the record in DFW in 1952, 104 in Waco in 1990, and looks like, unfortunately, we will beat both of those, especially Waco. 104, we will get right past that today. And the normal is still 95. Again, that's a average here. Waco, I believe, is still 96, DFW 94. So average of 95 right here in between the two. And here's where we stand on things. 45 days at DFW, including today, 100 degrees, and that's 8th in the list there. And then for DFW, 105 plus 23 days, and that's second place. We are, I believe, 5 days away from the tying the first spot at DFW in the 105, and I don't quite think we're going to get there. At least, you know, it would take, excuse me, it would take a few more days, probably some days in September, really hoping that doesn't happen. Waco, 52 days at 100 degrees plus, that's tied for 8th, and then 23 days at 105 degrees, that's also second in Waco, that's second behind 2011. We would need 9 more days to tie the first spot there with the 105 degree plus temperatures. And again, the way the forecast is going, we won't be tallying these up for too much longer, at least most of them, or at least the 105 degrees. We may still get some more 100s before things are all said and done, but hey, if we can get out of the 105 range for so many days, hey, we'll take that for sure. Today, not quite the case. 107, 106, 105 across the area. So yes, excessive heat warnings are in effect across the area. 82, 81 degrees overnight tonight. So it's going to stay warm. Unfortunately, we're not quite to the point of the cooler evenings and mornings yet, but we will get there. Excuse me, as I mentioned, yes, excessive heat warnings continue all across our area. And drought conditions, this is the new map as of yesterday. Drought conditions do continue to deteriorate, and I've had to add a new category there for the exceptional drought from Hamilton to Waco down to Gatesville, Killeen. It's just so dry out there, and the extreme drought now moving into Hill and Johnson counties there. Ellis and Navarro starting to get some of that severe drought. So the whole area, I mean, we're all very, very dry, and things have stayed that way. Now, we do have a couple of opportunities, at least a few, to get rain, so hopefully we'll get at least something. It won't be enough to really make a big dent in this, but it's a start, and we will take it. Burn bans continue across the area. That almost goes without saying at this point, but hey, we continue to have little fires out there, so I'm going to keep reminding people that you should not be doing any kind of burning at all. Let's look at the tropics here, and the Atlantic continues to not quite be as active as it was earlier this week. Tropical storm Franklin will become a hurricane, and looks like it will stay away from the eastern seaboard there, but up in Nova Scotia, parts of Canada, they may have to pay attention to that. And then these two other systems that could develop also look to lift northward, not quite affecting our area. Now we get into the Gulf of Mexico, another storm that doesn't look to impact our area, but I know that we have some Florida-bound vacationers here and there, so this system looks to develop probably within the next 5 to 7 days, lift northward towards Florida. Now here's the thing. The Gulf of Mexico is very warm, and it looks pretty likely that we will at least see a tropical storm out of this. But the other thing, too, is that by the time it gets into open water, there's still a fair bit of land here. So once it gets into open water, it won't be there too terribly long before it's moving across Florida. So will it have enough time to become anything major? I don't know. I could easily see this reaching maybe category 1 to 2 hurricane status before it moves over Florida, but I don't think that we see a major hurricane here. But again, time will tell. So we'll continue to watch this and see what it does, see if it develops into something major, and we'll make sure to pay attention just in case you are headed that way for a vacation, but otherwise, not something that will impact Texas. What is impacting us today, we see a little bit of moisture here moving in, and we could see a shower or thunderstorm or two. Yesterday we had just a couple of little spots here and there. Today we could have a few more, but really, again, not a washout, not a high chance, but we'll be paying attention to that very closely. And if we look at the big picture, again, you can just see where the high pressure is. Everything is just rotating around it, and the heat will continue for those areas. I mean, it's just incredible. But you notice that it's moved southward. We've got cold fronts on the map. We have one here. Let me get on the other side of the map here. We have one that is pushing right through the midsection of the country, through the Midwest now. That will continue to push southward. I don't think this front here, the one that's going to be moving really through the Great Lakes, I don't think that one is going to impact us, but all of this is part of a push of cool air moving in from the northwest that will bring cooler temperatures to our area. So the good news is, again, we do have relief that is on the way. Now, when I say relief, I don't mean we're going to be in the 70s out there in the daytime. We'll still be in the mid-90s, but again, mid-90s with drier air, much better than 105, 106, 107, 108 degrees. I mean, it's just unbearable out there. It will be much more bearable, and it looks like on the other side of it, we are closer to 100, 101. So we will take what we can get. Now, tonight begins high school football for a lot of you, and it's going to be warm out there. Your kickoff forecast tonight, 102 degrees, right around there. So 100 to 102, maybe 103, I think is where we're going to be, depending on where you are in the area. But it will still be very warm, right around 7 to 8 o'clock. Some of those games are starting a little bit later. The good news is that sunset is at 8 o'clock. So if we push those games to 7:30, 8 o'clock, then the sun won't be up too much longer and we'll start cooling down a little bit quicker. Southeast winds at 5 miles per hour there, 5 maybe the max. We may see some pretty calm winds out there, so not much impact on the kickoff in that regard. But yes, there could be a storm or two out there. So could there be a lightning delay out there randomly? It's possible, not likely, but hey, it could happen. So if you're going to Ennis for the Battle of 287 or any of the six-man games, any of the football games that are being hosted in this area, just make sure you take plenty of water, dress cool, maybe take a fan or something, make sure the kids are taken care of, that kind of thing. Just be mindful of this, and if you're a coach, a player, make sure that you are doing everything possible to keep those kids safe. Let's talk forecast here. Today, I have 10% here. I think we can bump that to 20%. So I've got 20% everywhere else. So I think we can bump that to a 20% chance later today, at least for our area. It's better the farther south you go. 107 for the high today. Again, some of us could reach 108, unfortunately. Overnight, 81. Tomorrow, another hot one, 106. Sunday, we start cooling down a little bit, and that cold front looks to move in sometime in the afternoon. So it looks like we will still warm up, but that should be interrupted by that front. As we get closer, we'll get a better idea of the time of arrival. And yes, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with that front, so afternoon, evening hours. Monday, really the first half of the day is going to be our best chance for a few showers. I don't even have the logo on there, but a few showers are possible. But what you really care about is the temperatures here, so let's take a look at that. We're in the 90s for the rest of the forecast period, and I believe this is just about ready to take us out of August. So pretty decent end to August considering the month that we've had. So 96, 95, 96, and Thursday we start getting up to 98, 99, closer to 100, but it will be drier. There won't be the 105, 106, 107 range, at least from what I can tell, and it looks like that pattern will just about hold. So even though we're getting into September and getting into meteorological fall that does begin on September 1st, it looks like it's at least going to be better than it has been for most of this month. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that, and I will be watching the radar for storms tonight. And just stay cool out there. I know that the football games are exciting and those kind of things, but you still have to stay safe. Keep the kids safe, keep yourself safe. Just really be smart about going to those games tonight. relief is on the way. Stay tuned for more updates on the chances for storms in the next few days and that cool down that is on the way.